Hey guys, welcome to Multitaskr. I'm Joe Frosto, CEO and founder of Multitaskr, a marketplace where we unite homeowners and the best service providers in your area. But today I want to welcome you to our podcast. It's called the Home Solutions Network Podcast, and we're going to be introducing the top service providers, clients that have used our marketplace, and some of the people that direct this company, and very exciting stories. The goal of the podcast is to save you time, save you money, give you insights, give you tips, and create value for your home. So come on in and let's check it out. Hey guys, thank you for joining us at your Home Solutions Network podcast. Here, Joe Frosto, CEO and founder of Multitaskr. And I am excited today because I have Patricio Amaya, which is our director of construction, which every time anything goes bad, we always look at him. Just kidding. No, but I'm super excited to have Patricio here. Most of our homeowners are doing some type of construction right now, especially with COVID. Everybody's home and everyone wants to do something. And we're getting a lot of work right now and a lot of estimating and the actual work getting done. And Patricio's the man behind the scenes, making sure that everybody is happy with their final product and talking to the clients at the beginning and educating them. And he's super hands-on and he's all over the place. And Patricio, if you can, I want to introduce you to the folks here listening to our podcast. And I know they're going to enjoy this conversation a lot. There's a lot of questions and tidbits that they're going to hear from you. So Patricio, can you tell us a little bit about you and let's not go yet why you're here, but more of who you are, so the homeowners can know why they should listen to Patricio and a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me to talk to the folks. So, I have a little over 10 years of experience in construction. It started out in Hawaii, actually. I got invited by a really good friend of mine to come over. I was about to start my master's degree in logistics, which is what I did in the military, right as soon as I left the military. And I kind of got like a gig, right, as a student doing construction, as most people do. My family has a background in construction and engineering, that kind of stuff. So I was always around it. But once I touched it for the first time, I just kind of fell in love with it and I found my passion. It was kind of natural to me. I just gravitated towards that, and something that attracts me a lot, and it's something that I just do naturally now since I've been doing it for so long, is modifying spaces. As soon as I walk into a space, I'm remodeling it. I'm changing this, changing that. I always try to apply new techniques that are coming up in the industry, because it's a passion of mine. I mean, you've said this before. I'm kind of like a construction geek, because I geek out on a lot of stuff, right? One of the things that I took from my background was attention to detail. I served in the military for, again, over 10 years, and part of my training was always, attention to detail, making sure that things like that. I was in logistics, so it plays into a lot in construction and the way everything kind of like comes together. Construction is kind of like this big puzzle that it has its order and all these little intricate parts play, but it's not just the materials of it. It's also the labor and the passion that everybody brings to their trade, and so there's a combination of those two things that really attract me to construction, and I mean, I keep doing it. Multitaskr gives me the opportunity to play with all kinds of toys and spaces and bringing joy to a family or a homeowner is a big part of what I do. It's a big part of modifying somebody's space. One, to make it comfortable for them to live in, but also nowadays it's kind of a necessity to create or generate income or value, right? Somebody's home is a big asset to what they have, right? It's probably the biggest asset. It's the biggest investment that they'll ever make, or they'll keep on making. So facilitating that, making sure that we guide people, educate them in what I do. I mean, part of my passion is also educating my clients in how to do it, how to go about accomplishing that goal, what would be the best way to handle those situations. and also, set the expectations for my performance. It's always a performance. It's always, completing a task, a mission. We're always on a mission. We're always on either a mission to please or a mission to add value. There's a lot of elements that play into what we do, and I love every single one of them.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service in the military. And what caught your attention about Multitaskr? What caught your attention about being the director of construction and knowing that you're going to have a lot of hard work? And what caught your attention about what we're doing and where we're headed?
I fell in love with the vision. I fell in love with the idea. When you first told me about it, when you first introduced me to your dream, it was just a dream. It was all up in the air. There were bases to it. There was a lot of elements that we could play with that at the time I saw as potential. You were using a lot of the elements that I wanted to implement in the industry, and it attracted me like right away. And not only that, but I saw the potential of creating that system. When you gave me the opportunity to head the department, I saw it more as a lab, right? Which it was a lab in the beginning. Creating models, validating those models, making sure that it was all part of the journey of the customer. One of the biggest things, and it's still the epicenter of the culture that we've built here, is customer-centric, right? That kind of guides our process, that guides how we do things, and I immediately saw that in the beginning, and I just I was super drawn to it, and the opportunity to be able to create that kind of stuff is unique on its own. It's non-existent anywhere else. At least I haven't seen it anywhere else. So yeah, that's what attracted me to this, to create this platform, and to go on that journey with you. That was I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Every day I'm excited to come in. To the building of the team was awesome. It's still awesome. It's a great team. We tend to lean on each other, and everybody brings that to the table. So I'm honored to have been bestowed upon the honor of directing them. So
we're very happy to have you here, Pato, and we call him Pato. It's his nickname. We're super happy to have you here as a director of construction. And a little fun fact: when I met Patricio, he also, besides having a contractor license, he also used to own a home inspection company. And so I saw that he was using drones, and that really caught my attention because most construction folks don't use a lot of drones, and so I knew that he would get what I was trying to do. And so when we started talking, and we just clicked. There was so much chemistry between us in regards to understanding what homeowners needed and how technology can be involved and how we need to do things differently. And I think the construction industry itself is very antiquated. A lot of the methods that people use are still the same methods that they've used for the past 40, 50 years. And so I kept seeing, and we keep seeing, the necessity of technology. And so I knew Patricio would get what I was thinking and what I was, and he got it. And we're always geeking out together on all the new stuff that we're coming up with and all the new stuff that we're going to be building together. But again, excited to have you here. If you could tell anybody that wants to get into construction, what can you recommend? What can you say is a pro and a con?
Yeah, I mean, the con is it's extreme work. It's a lot of work, but that's also the pro. If you're the type of person that is motivated to creating, it's definitely the job for you. It's there's a lot of creativity involved. I call construction, it's more problem solving than anything. One is the design part, which is what you want, and then the other one is the actual execution of it. The space will dictate what you do, and it's up to you. It's up to your creativity to modify that space in a way that gives you the result that you want. My suggestion to anybody that wants to get in construction is start at the bottom, learn everything. It's a long process. It's arduous, but it's worth it at the end. Construction is all about knowledge. It's all about how many tools do you have in that tool belt to apply to problem solving. Not necessarily, I mean, I'm not saying that I know everything, and I don't. I was very fortunate to have a mentor. I wish I would have met him earlier in my journey. I met him kind of like halfway through it, but I learned a lot from him. One thing is knowledge, and the other one is wisdom, right? Knowledge you acquire by reading a book, watching a YouTube tutorial, whatever. Experience gives you wisdom, right? So when you're acquiring your knowledge from somebody's wisdom, it's just a little bit, it's different, right? It comes with that experience. It comes with a lesson instead of you trying to figure it out. So I guess my advice to anybody that wants to get into construction is find somebody that is knowledgeable and successful in doing it, and learn as much as you can from them. And then the other one is gain experience. It's very hard to gain experience. It's one of the things that I always convey to my clients is thank you for the opportunity, because it's really an opportunity to perfect your trade, to perfect your craft. So when you're coming up in the ranks in construction, you have to gain the trust of your, whoever's teaching you, or your boss, or whoever, to bestow that, that responsibility on you, because ultimately it always falls on the contractor, right? It's always on the contractor's responsibility. Whether it was, somebody else that performed the job, it's your responsibility to gain, to create that space and to provide that service. So yeah, I mean, that's in a nutshell, gain experience and get a good teacher.
Right. And I know you've built many spaces. You were talking about spaces that you geek out on. That. What's the one you can brag about, or that you want to share with us?
Well, I've done many, but the one that mostly kind of like comes to mind is, it's funny that I mentioned my mentor, is we remodeled his home, right? He was having problems listing it and selling it, because he had recently bought a new place. So, I looked at him and I said, hey, dude, like there's a lot of talent in this room, and we just got to make that place more attractive and create that value that it needs for it to, go on the market, which is a lot of the times what we do. Not necessarily, it wasn't going to be a place where he was going to live in. So the approach is very different. But we were able to exercise a lot of really cool features and really cool techniques that either you've always wanted to do it, or that you've perfected it and it's your opportunity to shine again, right? So yeah, we remodeled the entire house, and within a week it was sold, and you could kind of like taste that result, like, hey, this is how we modified it, and there's the result right there directly, like he got what he wanted, which is, again, I repeat, is most of the stuff that we do for our clients. So yeah.
And that's really one of the main things why I was so drawn to Patricio, that he's super passionate about what he does. And I think most construction people that I've met so far they just look at the construction as what it is, right? Just the construction. It's like, this is what it is, and this is what we're going to build, and we're done. And so with Patricio, he brings in a lot of passion and just really wanting to help out and really listening to the consumer on what it is that he wants. And with the whole idea of utilizing the space properly, that's another thing that we're developing right now for realtors. Any realtors out there listening, a lot of realtors that have issues with their listings or want to try to sell a listing for higher value or higher price, they've been hiring us to help them out with that and visualize different spaces and build out different spaces to be able to sell the home at a much higher value. So now let's focus on the homeowners, right? I think the biggest thing of us getting together is to change the homeowners' lives and making homeownership easier. So let's start off from the basics, right? Someone wants to do a kitchen remodel or an extension, or they want to build something. And usually what they do is they go to Google or they call or they'll ask and they'll talk to a couple of contractors, and let's say they go that route, right? What do you suggest, what do you recommend homeowners to ask? What are the 3 questions they should ask the contractor?
First of all, they should always inquire in terms of how they would go about getting them what they want, and also if they fully understand what their needs are. A lot of the times contractors get lost in the whole profit side of the business, which, I mean, it is a lucrative business. But they're more focused on, well, show me what you want and I can give you a price for that, and then I'll do it, right? So I guess informing yourself on the approach that the contractor is going to take on your project, because that's going to define the outcome of that, right? It's very hard to convey ideas if you've never really done them, right? Contractors can talk to each other and identify what needs to happen, and it'll be pretty easy. But it's very different when a homeowner is trying to convey that, right? We use a lot of technology to do that. Part of our process, in fact, we started our process by eliminating those bottlenecks. Our goals were different. Now our goals have changed, but our processes stayed mainly the same. And it starts with, the wants and needs, and then from there, our input towards that project is key. One of the things that most contractors don't do is give you that input. Like, okay, you want this, all right, I'll give you that. However, based on your wants and needs, that's probably not what's going to be best suited for what you want on your project. I'm not saying that we'll dictate what it is that they want, but it is, I believe it's part of our duty to inform them what would be best to go about. How would it be best to go about getting that result? So I think that the best thing, or the primary thing when hiring a contractor is to know that approach, to know how they're going to be doing that.
So asking them how they would get there.
Exactly. Making sure that line of communication is open, and that before anything happens, before any cost is incurred on anything, that the path.
And I think the other thing I'll throw in there is that a lot of people, they'll try to compare pricing, and pricing, of course, is important, but it's not just the pricing, guys, especially when you're going to invest in your home. It could be very counterproductive if you think you're going to go to a contractor that's going to be, let's say, $5,000 less, but then he doesn't have the experience, or they just tell you a certain price and they change the price while you're in the middle of the construction, because they already know you're already in the middle of it and you just want to get done, right? And so make sure that you ask the right questions, like Patricio said, that you ask them, okay, how do I get here? What do you suggest? And put everything in writing and make sure they break down what they're going to do for you and that they help you out. Hopefully you work with us and we'll help you out and you don't have those issues. But let's say you don't, we're still going to be here for you guys. So even if you don't use us for construction, and you still want to call us for something else or another service or just an advice, please feel free to call us. That's what we're here for. We're not just here to sell you something. We're here to educate you, and we really want to help you out. So don't forget, or don't be shy to do that. What I know with homeowners, a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, especially right now with COVID, is they're stuck at home, and either they have a job and everything's great, or things are not that great right now with their work, and they're looking at different ways to either cut costs or create extra streams of income, or if they can raise value in their home by doing certain things to it. We're getting a lot of calls on that and a lot of questions on that, and we're helping a lot of folks get best use of their home. What do you recommend would be right now the best thing to do in your home, or at least not everyone, but at least most folks can take advantage of? We're in San Diego, but we are helping out people all over Southern California right now, with eventually going nationwide. But the intention is focusing on where we're at right now. What can you recommend, Patricio, to homeowners right now?
Well, one of the things that is very popular here in California right now is ADUs, right? ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit, or Additional Dwelling Unit, however you want to approach that. What that does is it creates an extra income, right? Depending on the size, depending on all that stuff. So by creating another living space that you can rent out, you can, one, increase the value of your home immensely. because now that home has a potential income, right, coming in, and then obviously the income, right, the rental income that you get, that you generate from that. We incorporate all kinds of elements, not only just the design and the construction side of it, but also we help you get the means to be able to afford that. So we match everything up with financing, and eventually we'll even go into property management, which will facilitate you not having to, the hassle, I guess, of managing your property. But yeah, I mean, that's the best way right now in terms of creating income from your home and adding the most value to it. There are definitely, ADU is the hottest.
Can you tell people, the homeowners, what an ADU is? Because some people don't know what ADU is.
An additional dwelling unit, right? It's kind of in the name. It's another. It's a building within your property that you can rent out. It could be attached. It could be detached. There's so many ways of building. You can build it on top of the house. A lot of people are converting their garage. I mean, as many people are aware, there's crises all over the planet right now. But in California, there's a housing crisis right now. And the government, or the state, has aligned with most of the cities, and they've all kind of changed their regulations around that particular product, which is the additional dwelling unit, because it's creating more housing, right, within all the cities. So we've kind of aligned with those regulations in terms of creating our designs and making sure that we can educate the client on how to go about how to go about getting that kind of like that sweet spot, right? You want to always hit that Goldilocks zone where it's the best bang for your buck, right? A lot of people come at us with, I want to do this. We obviously present that, and we obviously will build whatever it is that you want, but we also bring you a suggestion, something that we call best of use scenario, right? That scenario basically marries all that up in terms of your budget, the design, and what can maximize that income and that value to your home. Because sometimes it's these little subtle changes that you do to your design or the space that you want to modify to be able to generate that extra income, right? A studio will rent for a lot less than a one-bedroom apartment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of clients understand, or they've heard right now, as he said, ADUs are a hot button. So a lot of clients call us wanting to build something, and they think they know what they want to build, but we pride ourselves on really getting ourselves in your shoes. One of the philosophies here is customer-centric. Customer is always number one, and so we always try to put ourselves in your shoes and understand what it is that you're trying to obtain or trying to get, and then we'll try to look at the best use for your land, for your property. So let's say that folks cannot do an ADU, right? There's some zones where you just can't build it, or there's not enough land for you to build it. What is another way that comes to the top of your mind in regards to adding value to the home?
Well, I mean, like in the past, before ADUs were a hot item, adding square footage to your living space is definitely going to increase the value. And then updating all the features in your home, right? Kitchens and bathrooms are essential. Like, those are the things that add the most value in terms of a remodel. Everything else, it depends really on what you want to do it for and why, right? But in terms of adding value is upgrading those features, or updating them if you live in a dated home. That is what will increase the value the most.
Okay. What is a pointer that you as a contractor would give to a homeowner that just comes to the top of your mind? You're a homeowner, you just bought a home. What can you recommend to them? Anything that you can think of?
Well, I mean, that can go in many directions, right? It depends on wants and needs. If you're a brand new homeowner, say like that's your first time buying a house, Well, I mean, definitely adding an ADU. That's going to increase the value immediately. The other one is if you bought a home that is dated and needs work, then focus on those areas. Focus on upgrading the features that add value to your home. And then there's the wants and needs, right? If that's going to be, your little nest egg or whatnot, modify it in a way that it's going to bring you joy, that it's created into your home, right? One thing is buying a house. The other one is creating your home, making sure that, I can put myself in a young family, right, with young kids, creating those spaces where you're going to be creating those memories that's really matters, right, in life, where your kids are going to grow up. I mean, I'm a father, right? So I can my frame of mind always gravitates towards that, and it's I guess, like, if you go back to your early memories, you go back to that house that you grew up in, right? That bedroom, that playroom, all that. So, you kind of want to, modify those spaces. Those are the memories that you're going to generate for your family. And the better you make them your own, the better those memories will be. So it's all about setting, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Pat. So, homeowners, you can send us any questions you have for Pat, and he'll definitely reach out to you, and anybody from our construction can help you out with any of those questions. Hey guys, thank you for joining Multitaskr's Home Solution Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our next podcasts. Remember, every single podcast, we're going to give you different advice on how to save time, how to save money, and how to create value. Check us out at gomultitaskr.com. Click subscribe.